Hey everybody, it's Pep. Welcome back to the Sentinel. Today I've got a bit of a treat for you. Laurent from LolaScents has very graciously agreed to do this little collab with me, and we thought it would be fun to do a review of fragrances that we've liked on our channels before. So for example, most of you who've been following me for a while know that I love Timbuktu, and I've done a review of that fragrance. I have also done a review of Kouros from Yves Saint Laurent, which is one of my favorites. And I've also done, more recently, a review of Guerlain's Heritage EDT. And I've liked all of those fragrances. They're favorite fragrances of mine. And what LolaScents is doing is she's going to give you her opinion on these 3 fragrances, and after her I'm going to give my opinion on 3 fragrances that she's talked about on her channel in the past that she's also liked. So I won't keep you all waiting. Here's Lauren with her opinion on my favorite fragrances.
Let's get started with the first fragrance, and that is going to be Kouros. And let's see, I have Kouros here drying down, but I'm also going to put it on my skin. So Kouros, I know that this is one of those, what is it, 80s powerhouse type fragrances. I know that this was very popular, still is very popular, but how it's been described, it's one that I thought that I would never really like. So let's smell Kouros. I like to smell things on skin just because it gets a more accurate depiction for me. Oh, that is definitely 80s to me. That is definitely wow. Do you wear this? Yeah, I knew I wasn't gonna like this. I knew I was gonna like Kouros. It's just not the type of scent for me. I want to say that I smell oak moss in here. I smell something that's very, very sharp and something that's kind of burning my nose, but also like musky, animalic. It's definitely not something that I want to go back to or I want to have my partner wear. I'm gonna be completely honest. I mean, I hope he's honest when he's judging my fragrances. He definitely won't hurt my feelings, and I don't think I'll hurt his feelings. Okay, the dry down is better. It's that sharpness mellowed out a lot more. Didn't enjoy that at all, but I still don't like this fragrance. It's just a fragrance that would definitely give me a headache if someone was wearing this around me. Yeah, I don't like this at all. If I had to rate this fragrance, I would probably give it like maybe 3 out of 10. Okay, let's move on to the next fragrance. Okay, the next fragrance is going to be Guerlain Heritage. I love the House of Guerlain. They don't make many things that I hate. There are definitely things that I, would rather not wear, but nothing that I absolutely hate. I just really like the House of Guerlain. I like this. I can smell a little bit of like a sweet undertone, maybe vanilla or tonka, and some spices, but there's also maybe like leather. I'm not sure. I like this fragrance. It's definitely, again, not one of my favorites or one I would want to smell in my partner, but if someone was wearing this around me, I wouldn't mind. This does smell like an older gentleman scent. Not old as in geriatric, but I mean like, an older, more mature man would wear this scent. Okay, there's something in it though that's a little bit astringent also, like a hint of ammonia type smell, which I'm not really liking. But I don't know. I don't know if that's just my skin. Let's test the blotter now. It really didn't change that much. I would give this, if I had to rate it, maybe 5 out of 10. Next, we're going to be smelling Timbuktu. Timbuktu, I have smelled before very briefly at the L'Artisan counter many years ago, and I remember being like kind of about it. Like I didn't try it on skin, so let's test it out. This does smell pretty good. I smell something a little spicy, dry. This one's very interesting. There's a lot of interest to this fragrance. This is one I think you'd have to spray on and sit with a little while to actually notice all the facets of the fragrance. There's something strong about this fragrance, but also subdued. It's not, it's a powerful fragrance, but it's very, not transparent, that's the totally wrong word, but it breathes. It's not in your face, it's kind of around you and envelops you rather than just punching you. And that's something I really like about this fragrance. Definitely would be one that I'd want to smell on someone. I would want a person around me wearing this. I would give this, if I had to, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. I mean, 8, 9 out of 10. I don't absolutely love it, but it's definitely a really good fragrance and I want to get to know it more. I hope you guys really enjoy those picks, and now on to Pet.
Thank you so much for doing that, Lauren. I really appreciate it. So now it's my turn to talk about fragrances that you have talked about on your channel. Now, it's probably cheating on my part a little bit because the 3 scents that I'm going to talk about today are scents that you've talked about and liked, but they're usually they're either very unisex or marketed to men. So the first one I'll talk about is Yves Saint Laurent's L'Homme. This was one that you talked about in a video about your favorite men's designer fragrances, and this one was one of your favorites. So I got myself a very small decant of it. So I've sprayed some, like Lauren has, on a card for the dry down, but I'm going to spray some on my skin just to see what it's like. Now, these are first impressions, and so I haven't gone into too much analysis of them. I'm going to spray them literally and tell you what my thoughts are. Okay, so L'Homme is actually pretty nice. I have a few summer fragrances, fresher fragrances, citrus based. I get a lot of citrus in here, but what I like about this one is that I'm getting something more spicy in here as well, which kind of is setting it a little bit apart from the other ones I have, and I can understand why this would be a popular fragrance. It's very, very fresh, crowd pleasing, and I'm definitely getting ginger, I guess. It's spicy, and it's really sitting well with the opening citruses. One thing I have heard about that fragrance though is that performance isn't great. Now, just bear in mind that I have sprayed it on a card a little while ago, and when I spray that, yes, it's very, very faint on the card. I don't know how it will perform on my skin, but what I do know is I like how it smells, and in keeping with the video, if I had to rate this, I'd probably give it, for this genre, probably 7 or an 8, maybe a 7, because it doesn't appear to have great performance. So I'd probably want to make sure I bought a bottle at discount and not spend too much money on a bottle. But yeah, Yves Saint Laurent L'Homme is very, very nice. So the second one I'm going to test was part of an earlier collaboration that Lauren and I did about favorite unisex fragrances for, that can be worn by men and women. And this one she talked about as one of her favorite gourmands, if memory serves me correctly, and that is Intoxicated by Kilian. Now, I need to disclose that this is technically not going to be a first impression, because I actually wore this yesterday for most of the day. So I have had that experience, but still the impressions are fresh enough for me to treat it like a first impressions. And I'm going to spray it again onto my other hand, if I can open it. Okay, that is really nice opening. And what I like about this is I really like the coffee note in this. I have been on the lookout for good coffee based fragrances. Not necessarily really sweet, but what I'm reminded of immediately is I have Pure Malt by Mugler, Amen Pure Malt. Now this is not a copy of that, but as soon as I smelled this, it reminded me of that. But this doesn't have the you know, the kind of dry fruitiness and booziness of the Mugler, but this coffee note and cardamom I'm picking up here is really nice. It is really nice. Okay, so the card, now that's still going pretty strong. Well, I really like that one. Definitely one for the cold weather, because it is, even though I wore it yesterday, it has been really warm here, and probably if you don't overspray, this would be good. But I'm loving the coffee in this. Now, the only thing that worries me about this is the price tag of a full bottle, but I tell you what, it is really impressive. So that's another good pick from Laurent, and I think I have to give this a 9 out of 10. That is really nice. And I like it because it's not too sweet or cloying. Okay, so the third scent that I'm going to test today is one that was featured on LolaScents as one of the sexiest fragrances that Laurent smelled, and that definitely got my attention. And this is Ex Idolo's Rider. I managed to get a tiny sample through a friend on Facebook who was gracious enough to give it to me, but I've got enough for this test. Again, sprayed on the card for some dry down. Okay, so this is very nice. It's mainly, to me, this really gorgeous boozy amber is the main things I'm getting, and it's really good. On the card, still going strong, and it's noticeably different on the card than it is on my skin, so this might be one that actually works quite well on my skin. Now, just going off this very brief sniff, I have another favorite in my collection called Ombre Rosé, which is an amber based fragrance again, and without having to do a side by side, this very much reminds me of that on my skin. So it would really, the only drawback with this is whether I would need it in my collection, particularly as a full bottle, or certainly if there are decants available, I'd definitely go for it. But this one here, I'd probably give an 8 out of 10. So based on those ratings, the By Kilian Intoxicated was my favorite of those three. But one thing it does prove is that Laurent has very nice taste when it comes to fragrances. And I want to thank her again for doing this. And I hope everybody else enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, Laurent, and check out LolaScents channel. I'll leave a link obviously below, and I will have left links to other videos related to what we're talking about today. So until next time, thanks very much. See you later.